Well, what's going on, everybody? WakoBako here, and we're already into the last week of February. If you guys haven't been on planet Earth all weekend, the Shining Fate set dropped on Friday and earlier for some others. And after spending the weekend trying to find some casually, I wasn't going too crazy, mainly because I know the area that I'm in, and it's hard enough to find regular stock. No luck. But I did find another TCG that I've always had an interest in. So today we're going to open up some packs from that. I'm going to show a little bit of my collection and some of the packs that I'm keeping sealed. So I was able to come across some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was a huge fan of this when the TCG first came out, and I watched the show pretty much till like the original like story arc dropped off, and then after that it just kind of went crazy. But so we have Spell Ruler and Metal Raider. These are two of the earlier sets that came out in 2002, and obviously they like re-pushed these back out through the good old Fairfield company here. So we'll try our luck with a couple of these here. I do have my little mini binder here that I have some really old cards in and some newer stuff, but just try to keep in some of my favorite cards. Obviously this binder is crazy old. Yeah, 2003. So pretty much like right in the surge of all of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. They had these knockoff Ultra Pros, and of course I had to get that. But yeah, I might as well just show these off here. So these are some of the packs I'm holding on to. Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is one of the first sets that came to the English side of the house. And then we have Metal Raider, which followed up right behind that. Again, this is all 2002. Spell Ruler, which was originally named Magic Ruler, and then they changed it. I don't know if it was just for the English sets or just a name change altogether. And then you have Pharaoh Servant. I want to say this one was getting into 2003. And then Dark Crisis was middle or the end of 2003. So again, nothing too crazy here. These packs aren't super expensive or anything, but I do like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I used to play it a lot, more than I used to play the Pokemon TCG. Which is kind of crazy, especially with how my channel is set up now, but I've always been more of a collector of Pokemon and a player of Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's take a look at this little mini binder real quick here. Again, nothing too crazy in here, but I'll just kind of go over and talk about some of this stuff real quick. So all of these here, especially like the token here, I guess I'll just raise this up a little bit. All of these came from a promotional kit there. Obviously you have all the Egyptian gods there, Slifer being my favorite. But yeah, these ones are really cool. There's obviously other ones that came out that actually had like their full ruling and stuff on it, but these are all the promotional ones, so it just had like a little bit of a blurb on there. Obviously, if you knew, the anime itself, or you played the actual TCG, you knew what all their actual effects were. But again, these were all just promotional. I think on the backs of them, let me see. So you can tell how these ones are different than some of the other set ones, because these ones, they just have a different discolored back. So same thing with like Obelisk, that one's a blue back, and so on and so forth. But yeah, thought, might as well have all those. That token is pretty cool as well, of Yugi himself. And then some of the other promotional cards that I had here, like Set Sail for the Kingdom. Obviously, if anyone out there watched the anime, you guys remember, Yugi got invited to go to Duel's Kingdom, and then they gave specific cards, especially this one here. This is one of your options that you had to either win $3 million, which would be absolutely sick, or get a wish granted by Pegasus himself. He would grant anything. These all are additional tokens that you can actually use in place of summoning and stuff like that. So here, and getting into some of the good stuff here, this Blue Eyes is crazy old. This is from one of the original theme decks that they had, or like the tins, if you will. Very, very old. It's not in the best of shape. But I mean, again, I used to play with these, and when I was a kid, you didn't really know much about sleeving stuff up. It was just, hey, get your deck together and let's rock and roll. I tried to get every iteration of Blue Eyes White Dragon up to a certain point. Blue Eyes Shining up here, and then we go into the Red Eyes. Again, another famous dragon in this whole set. And again, a lot of this stuff, and as you can tell as I go through this, it's some of the older stuff. Again, they started coming out with new mechanics and, new card types and all that stuff, and it just got way too over the top. And that's kind of where I dropped off. But I did, go throughout the years and pick up some stuff and, just see how it was. A lot of this stuff here is, reminiscent of the anime itself, cards that you saw being played or just interacted with throughout the show. And then getting into some of the newer stuff here, like this Photon Strike Pouncer. This was, like I said, one of the newer types and stuff that they added in. And then you had these split ones here where it was like a dragon and another effect, and it was just like, yeah. If anyone, if anyone ever wants to like do an OG duel with like the original rules and stuff like that, I'm totally down for that. That's kind of where I dropped off. But again, I kept some of the cards, and then some of the newer ones. When the Maximum Gold set came out, I tried to pull some of the older cards there. So good old Monster Reborn, Harpy's Feather Duster, and a Super Polymerization. That's pretty much it for the mini binder here. Again, just a little bit of a throwback to another TCG that I collected when I was a kid. I have a whole bunch of loose cards. I still have a deck put together. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's still fun, and for me, it's much easier to play, even though it seems way more complicated than Pokemon TCG to play. But I always had fun playing it. So let's crack into these here. We got 2 Metal Raiders and 2 Spell Rulers. We'll crack into the Metal Raiders first. Again, I mean, I'm not expecting anything too crazy out of these, but it's all the same like OG set list that these all dropped with before. So it'd be cool to see some of those old school cards. And you never know, we could pull something good. I do hate the packaging though, as you can tell. There we go. Just try and open up from that top corner, I guess. These also have 9 cards per pack. So it's a little bit different than Pokemon. But the other thing I liked about this, and let's see if I'm gonna open this up the right way. Nope, and nope. Cool, so that's a pain. On the packaging, it says something very unique, and I wish the Pokemon company would do this on theirs, just because it's a little more upfront. So check this out. So 9 cards in a pack, and it tells you, what this set contains. And again, I think that'd be pretty cool, because on the back of a lot of Pokemon packs, there's all this extra crap, all the advertising and stuff like that. But I think that'd be cool, just so, especially when a new set like Shining Fates comes out, how many cards are in the set and of each rarity. I think that's something that Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG has done a lot better. And again, that might be just my opinion, but I know when I showed off the Final Fantasy TCG, they did something very similar. So, and I want to say the Digimon one does it as well, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, we're just gonna crack into these, try our luck, and just have fun looking at some older cards that I used to use and build in my decks from forever ago. All right, so starting off with Metal Raider. I do remember when these first came out, and my dad used to work down in a restaurant by the beach, and there was a little shop right across the street, and we would just go there and grab pack after pack after pack anytime we would visit. So a lot of the stuff is nostalgic, and then just, again, cards that I used to duel with. So Jinzo number 7, good seeing that one. We got Hayasubi, sort of dark-seeded. A lot of these equip cards, especially in the early iterations of the TCG, were crazy strong. Like this one here, monster equipped with this can increase its attack and defense by 500 points. That was pretty decent. And then you also had the option when this card was discarded and sent to the graveyard, you could bring it back. So really, really sick equip card there. Baby Dragon, obviously a memorable or a memorable monster. I almost call it Pokemon. It's going to throw me off because all I do is Pokemon openings. All right, so behind that, we have the Mass Sorcerer. And again, it's got the different text up there. It's been so long since I've looked into this stuff, so I don't remember how the rarity system actually works. I'm assuming that's one of the higher end ones, but yeah, someone, if you do follow currently and you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, definitely call me out in the comments and help me out there. We have the Disc Magician there, Queen's Double, Bottom Dweller. That was another good one, especially with the summoning and how that works. With the star ratings, I'll give a little bit of background on, just so this doesn't take forever. Each card has a different star rating, and that kind of lets you know how you can play that card. So if it's a 4-star or under, you can just summon it automatically. If it's a 5-star to 6-star, you would have to sacrifice one card that you have on the field, and then 7 and above, 7 to 8, I want to say is 2. And then anything above that is a 3 summon, but that's obviously a very specific situation. And behind that, oh my goodness, Kaminari Attack. There we go. Good old fusion types there. Definitely played that one a whole bunch. So Nice, very cool to see some of these really old cards here. And like I said, this is all stuff that I used to just, we would grab packs, when they used to sell stuff at gas stations, and we would just build our decks and just play, just hanging out at my dad's restaurant. All right, so here we go. Going into this here, we have Petit Moth there, Tremendous Fire. Again, this was another really good card, kind of probably crazy strong for its time. Inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent, and you would take 500 yourself. Depending on what rule set you would use, most people would start with either 2,000 or 4,000, even though the OG rule sets said 8,000. But again, that's still a huge hit. So, all right, so we have the Dragon Piper, another really good card there. Now, I always like these effect cards as well. There's a really nice one, good old Dark Elf. So this one was awesome too. But that's what I liked with the effects. Sometimes it balanced out these cards. So this one here, even though it has 2,000 attack and it's only 4 stars, so you could summon it right away, it says this card requires the cost of 1,000 of your own life points to attack. So even if you pull this early on, within your first couple turns and you put it on the field, and you're looking to get that high attack advantage there, it's going to cost you 1,000 attack points every time you want to use this. So you might get 1 or 2 attacks out of it, and then summon it off or sacrifice it off for something else. All right, so then we have the King here. Remember using this one all the time as well. We have Gazelle, the King of Mythical Beasts. This is always very commonly used in the anime, and this is also used for fusion material as well. The Armored Lizard, pretty decent and a basic card to use, especially with 1,500 attack and being a 4-star. You just kind of get it out there on the field, either in attack or defense, and just get something out on the field there. And the Immortal of Thunder, very nice. All right, cool. It's crazy seeing all these, and like I said, I used to play with all these all the time, and like I said, I still have a deck built. I might have to go grab that real quick if this video doesn't run too long. All right, so going into Spell Ruler here. All right, let's see what we can get in this one here. And again, a lot of these cards I memorized and I'm used to seeing, and they're just kind of burned in my brain. So yeah, so let's start with this one. We have the Gravekeeper Servant. We have Magical Labyrinth. Again, another great spell card to go with a very strong, just regular summon card, the Labyrinth Wall. That was crazy because that had 3,000 defense. So if you could get that out and just leave it in defense mode the whole time, it was very hard to kind of get around. So you'd always have something in defense mode there to kind of protect your life points. All right, then we have Fairy's Hand Mirror, Black Pennant. Ooh, very nice, very nice. So this one here, it's got a weird kind of hollow foil pattern on, but it looks like it's just on the pendant itself, a little bit harder to see in the camera. This was a card I used all the time, especially because it would just increase your attack points by 500 points, so whoever this was equipped to. And then you had the option to bring it back if it was destroyed, but it would cost you life points to bring it back out. So, and then behind that we have Shining Angel, another beautiful card there. This one here, the artwork on Yu-Gi-Oh is very unique, and just some of the craziest stuff you're gonna see. So behind that, then we have Gaia Power there. This was a nice field spell. So when you had like the mat laid out, and obviously it had all your different sections, you could lay this out in the top left corner, and this would actually benefit both players. So this one here increases attack of all earth monsters by 500 and decreases their defense by 400. So again, you play it on the field, and if you had a very heavy earth-based deck, this would help, and maybe the person you're playing with didn't. So another great equip card here, or equip spell card. This one would give you 700 attack, which is a nice bump there, especially if if you're just under 2,000, or even if you had something that was at 2,000, that's a huge jump. And let's say you had something at 2,000, there's not too many cards at that time that were 2,700 attack or higher, so you would definitely take a quick advantage there. And good old Griggle, man, I haven't seen that card in forever. That's awesome. So doing pretty good so far. And looking at what I've pulled so far, I think the next time I go down and see my older brother and his kids, I'll bring some of his stuff down and maybe help buff out one of their decks. That's the other thing I like too. Anytime I go down there, they always ask me to bring my cards down so we can duel and stuff, and it's fun, and it keeps the kids occupied for a little bit. So all right, here we go, last pack. Let's see what we can get out here. Good old Typhon Typhoon number 2. Again, pretty decent card there. But see, if you look at this one, for what attack and defense it has, it's not really worth, you know, sacrificing to put it out in the field unless you had like a really low, like 1 or 2 star, and you just, you know, could quickly put it out there waiting to pull something else. Turtle Oath, this was tied into a ritual summon here. Ooh, very, very nice. I'll gladly take that. Forceful Sentry. Look at your opponent's hand, select 1 card and return it to their deck. Then the deck is shuffled. So if they had something like a crazy strong monster like Blue Eyes, or, you know, Summon Skull, Dark Magician, you know, all the, you know, the very catchy monsters there, or, you know, maybe a high-end spell or a very strong trap, you could just go ahead and take a look at their hand. Plus, you kind of had an idea of what they had, and, you know, you can kind of build your strategy around that. So very, very awesome card there. Right behind it is Mother Grizzly. I remember that artwork. Just a humongous bear. Behind that we have good old Weather Report. Ceremonial Bell. So again, that's another good one because it's got high defense, no attack, and it's only 3 stars, so you can put it out right away. And then this one has a very unique effect. It says, as long as this card remains on the field face up, you and your opponents must show your respective hands to each other. So what I would do is, as soon as I play this, you know, because you can't play face-up defense position, and I could go into a whole tangent about how the old mechanics used to work. But if you got into a situation where this was ooh, very nice. If you had this face-up in defense position on the field like this, I would pretty much just lay my whole hand out here. My opponent would do the same thing until this was destroyed or, you know, removed off the field. Just because, like I said, you pretty much get to look at each other's hand until that card's taken out. So. All right, and then we have the giant turtle who feeds on flames. Again, a lot of these names are completely drawn out or just like the most ridiculous names out there. And the electric snake to end off with. So not too bad. Definitely pulled a lot of good cards and a lot of cards I remember using, and it's stuff that, you know, I could definitely pull into a deck here. So we got a little bit of time here. I'm just gonna go grab my other deck real quick I was talking about. We'll go through that real quick. The cards are in nowhere near mint condition because obviously I play with them, so just hang out for 1 second. Let me just go grab this real quick. I don't know why I didn't grab this in the first place because there are some decent cards in this deck, but here we go. And you can tell, look at how old and beat up this deck box is. This thing has seen much better days, so let's check this out. So just like Pokemon, there is a coin that you can use, so I always bring my humongous Eternius coin there. It's always fun. I end up sleeving all these after, and yes, they are mixed match because I didn't have enough of either. And no, it's not set out to be a certain way. If it is, yeah, I didn't recognize it. So let's take a look and see what this deck has real quick. So again, just a lot of really good cards. Jinzo. Yeah, and again, this is before all those extra types were added in. You know, Infinite Cards is a great card. Allows you to break the card limit that you can have in your hand. So you could literally just have limitless cards. Dark Hole was always one of those troll cards that you could play. You know, if your opponent stacked up a whole bunch of, you know, offensive or defensive monsters and you had garbage on your side, you pretty much just wipe the slate clean and start over. Polymerization, always good with any kind of fusion. In this deck here, see, there's Malevolent Nesla right there. With this deck here, I didn't have too many fusions, but I always try to have, you know, at least one. Good old Lord of D. This was such a great card, and I'm pretty sure it's still pretty playable unless they got it out. So this one's pretty interesting because if you look, it has the black text for the lettering up top, a little bit different than all the other ones. Fluid Summoning Dragon. This ties into Lord of D, so this allows you to summon 2 dragon type monsters from your hand. So if you were holding on to 2 Blue Eyes or any other 2 dragons, it would definitely help. Good old Monster Born. Every deck has to have a Monster Reborn. This one here I really liked, the great Maju Garzette. This one's pretty cool because once you got this out on the field, the attack of this card became twice of the original attack of the tribute monsters used. So let's say for some reason you want to sacrifice, you know, a Blue Eyes or something like that to bring this out. Obviously the attack is going to be through the roof. So yeah, and then you have your regular basic cards like this in my deck just because they have high defense. It's something good to kind of start with. But yeah, see, good old Labyrinth Wall. Again, it's a 5-star, but with 3,000 defense. It can buy you some time to kind of set up an offensive or even add more to your defense. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know it's something a little bit different and a little bit out of the blue, but again, without being able to find any Shining Fates, and I'm not overpaying for it, I'll just wait till whenever I can get my hands on it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. This is a set that is readily available, or you know, a TCG that is. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Again, hopefully you enjoyed it. I do have Pokemon stuff to open, don't worry. I just want to save it till we get a little bit closer to that 1 year mark, so we have a little bit of a bigger opening there, which is coming up close. So stay tuned for that. That should be a good time. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Take it easy.